Inviting me to recite today.
No, it's
I
a
will try
pleasure.
and do my best. Thank you.
No, it's an honor to have you, Mataji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll start from text 34. Hare Krishna. Anilopi vikurvano nabhasorubalanvitah sasarjarupa tanmatram jyotirlokshya lochanam. Do I wait for someone to read English?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay,
Yashwini
yeah.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Yashwini Mataji. You are on mute, Yashwini Mataji.
Sorry. Hare Krishna, sorry. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thereafter, the extremely powerful air interacting with the sky generated the form of sense perception, and the perception of form transformed into electricity, the light to see the world.
Anilenanvitam jyotirvikurvat paravikshitam adhatam bhorasamayam kalamayam shayogataha.
When electricity was surcharged in the air and was glanced over by the Supreme, at that time, by a mixture of eternal time and external energy, there occurred the creation of water and taste.
Jyotishambhonushmarishtam vikurvad brahma vikshitam mahim gandha gunam adhat kalamayam shayogataha.
Thereafter, the water produced from electricity was glanced over by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and mixed with eternal time and external energy. Thus it was transformed into the earth, which is qualified primarily by smell.
Bhutanam nabha adinam yad yad bhavya varavaram tesham paranushma sargad yatha sankhyam gunan viduha.
O gentle one, of all the physical elements, beginning from the sky down to the earth, all the inferior and superior qualities are due only to the final touch of the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Ete devaha kala vishno kalamayam shalinginaha nanatvat svakriyanishaha prochu prananjalyo vibhum.
The controlling deities of all the above-mentioned physical elements are empowered expansions of Lord Vishnu. They are embodied by eternal time under the external energy, and they are his parts and parcels. Because they were entrusted with different functions of universal duties and were unable to perform them, they offered fascinating prayers to the Lord as follows.
Deva uchu namam te deva padaravindam prapannatapo pashamat patram yanamulaketa yatayon jasoru samshara dukham bahirut kshipanti.
The demigod said, O Lord, your lotus feet are like an umbrella for the surrendered souls, protecting them from all the miseries of material existence. All the sages under that shelter throw off all material miseries. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet.
धातर्यद् अस्मिन् भव ईश जीवस्तपत्रयेण विहता न शर्मा आत्मन् लभन्ते भगवंश्च तवन्घ्रि क्षयां सविद्यम् अत आश्रयेम.
O Father, O Lord, O Personality of Godhead, the living entities in the material world can never have any happiness because they are overwhelmed by the three kinds of miseries. Therefore, they take shelter of the shade of your lotus feet, which are full of knowledge, and we also thus take shelter of them.
Marganti yatte mukhapadmanidash chanda superne rashio vivikte yasyaghamarshod saridvaraya padam padam tirthapada prapanna.
The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions.
Yachhadraya shrutavatya cha bhaktya samrajyamane hridaye vadhaya gnanena vairagya balena dhira rajema tatte nigrisarojapitham.
Simply by hearing about your lotus feet with eagerness and devotion, and by meditating upon them within the heart, one at once becomes enlightened with knowledge, and on the strength of detachment, one becomes pacified. You must therefore take shelter of the sanctuary of your lotus feet.
Vishwasya janma sthiti samya Marte krutavatarasya padambhujam te vrajema sarve sharanam yatisha samrutam prachyatya abhiyam swapumsam.
O Lord, you assume incarnations for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation, and therefore we all take shelter of your lotus feet because they always award remembrance and courage to your devotees.
Yat 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 sanubandhe sati dehagehe mamam itya udadura grahanam pumsam suduram vasatopi puryam bhajem tatte bhagavan padabjam.
O Lord, persons who are entangled by undesirable eagerness for the temporary body and kinsman, and who are bound by thoughts of mind and I, are unable to see your lotus feet, although your lotus feet are situated within their own bodies. But let us take shelter of your lotus feet.
Tanveya asadritibhirakshibhirye Parahartantar manasa paresha atho na pashyantya yurugayanunam yete padanya savilasha lakshaya.
O great Supreme Lord, offensive persons whose internal vision has been too affected by external materialistic activities cannot see your lotus feet, but they are seen by your pure devotees, whose one and only aim is to transcendentally enjoy your activities.
Panen te deva katha sudhaya pravruddha bhaktya vishadashayaye vairagya saram pratilabhya bodham yatha jasan viryurakushta dishyanam.
O Lord, persons who, because of their serious attitude, attain the stage of enlightened devotional service, achieve the complete meaning of renunciation and knowledge, and attain the Vaikuntha Lok in the spiritual sky simply by drinking the nectar of your topics.
तथा परे चात्मा समाधियोग बलेन जित्वा प्रकृतिं बलिष्ठां त्वामेव धीराः पुरुषं विशन्ति तेषां श्रमः स्नानतु सेवयाते.
Others who are pacified by means of transcendental self-realization and have conquered over the modes of nature by dint of strong power and knowledge also enter into you. But for them there is much pain, whereas the devotee simply discharges devotional service and thus feels no such pain.
तत्ते वयं लोकशिशुर्क्षयाद्य त्वयानुसृष्टा स्त्रीभिरात्मभिः स्मः सर्वे वियुक्ता स्वविरारतन्त्रं न शकुनमस्तत्प्रतिहर्तवेते.
O original person, we are therefore but yours only. Although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature, and for this reason we are separated in action. Therefore, after the creation, we could not act concertedly for your transcendental pleasure.
यवद्बलिं ते जहरमकाले यथा वयं चानम आत्मयात्रा यथोभयेषां त इमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो ननम अद्यांत्य अनोहः.
O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities, so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance and can easily accumulate the necessities of life both for you and for ourselves.
त्वं नः सुराणामसि सान्वयानां कुटस्थ आद्यः पुरुषः पुराणः त्वं देवशक्त्यां गुणकर्मयोनौ रेतस्त्वजायां कविमादधेजः.
You are the original personal founder of all the demigods and the orders of different gradations, yet you are the oldest and are unchanged. O Lord, you have no source or superior. You have impregnated the external energy with the semen of the total living entities, yet you are unborn.
ततो वयं मत्प्रमुखा यदर्थे बभूविमात्मन् करवां किं ते त्वं नः स्वचक्षुः परिदेहि शक्त्या देवक्रियार्थे यदनुगृहाणाम्.
O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahat Tattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Mataji, Yashwani Mataji, thank you so much for reciting the Sanskrit and English translations. Done very beautifully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I'll share my screen. Okay. Hare Krishna. So before we discuss these verses, I would like to do some prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shrinavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridenta Sthoya Bhadrani Vithunoti Suhirat Satam Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, Verse 49. Yavad balim teja haramakale yatha vayam channam adamayatra yatho bhayesham ta imehi loka balim harantonam adantya anuha. Translation. O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities, so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance and can easily accumulate the necessities of life both for you and for ourselves. Would anyone like to read first paragraph, Mataji or Prabhuji?
Mataji, can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Developed consciousness begins from the human form of life and further increases in the forms of the demigods living in higher planets. The earth is situated almost in the middle of the universe, and the human form of life is the intermediate stage between the life of the demigods and that of the demons. The planetary systems above the earth are specially meant for the higher intellectuals called demigods. They are called demigods because although their standard of life is far more advanced in culture, enjoyment, luxury, beauty, education, and duration of life, they are always fully God conscious. Such demigods are always ready to render service to the Supreme Lord because they are perfectly aware of the fact that every living entity is constitutionally an eternal subordinate servitor of the Lord. They also know that it is the Lord only who can maintain all living entities with all the necessities of life. The Vedic hymns, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhyati Kamam Ta Enam Abruvam Ayatanam Na Prajanihi Yasmin Pratishtita Anam Adame etc. confirms this truth. In Bhagavad Gita also, the Lord is mentioned as Bhuta Bhrit, or the maintainer of all living creatures. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Would anyone like to read the next one?
I can, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
The modern theory that starvation is due to an increase in population is not accepted by the demigods or the devotees of the Lord. The devotees or demigods are fully aware that the Lord can maintain any number of living entities, provided they are conscious of how to eat. If they want to eat like ordinary animals who have no God consciousness, then they must live in starvation, poverty, and want, like the jungle animals in the forest. The jungle animals are also maintained by the Lord with their respective foodstuffs, but they are not advanced in God consciousness. Similarly, human beings are provided with food grains, vegetables, fruits, and milk by the grace of the Lord. But it is the duty of human beings to acknowledge the mercy of the Lord. As a matter of gratitude, they should feel obliged to the Lord for their supply of foodstuff, and they must first offer him food in sacrifice and then partake of the remnants. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Last paragraph. Any volunteers?
Mataji, can I read it?
Yes, Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 3.13. It is confirmed that one who takes foodstuff after a performance of sacrifice eats real food for proper maintenance of the body and soul. But one who cooks for himself and does not perform any sacrifice eats only lumps of sin in the shape of foodstuff. Such sinful eating can never make one happy or free from scarcity. Famine is not due to an increase in population, as less intelligent economists think. When human society is grateful to the Lord for all his gift for the maintenance of the living entities, then there is certainly no scarcity or want in society. But when men are unaware of the intrinsic value of the such gift from the Lord, surely they are in want. A person who has no God consciousness may live in opulence for the time being due to his past virtuous acts. But if one forgets his relationship with the Lord, certainly he must await the stage of starvation by the law of the powerful material nature. One cannot escape the vigilance of the powerful material nature unless he leads a God conscious or devotional life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.5.50. त्वां नः सूरनामसि सन्वयानां कूटस्थ अद्य पुरुषः पुराणः त्वां देवसख्यां तन्देवशक्त्यां गुणकर्मयोनौ रेतस्त्व अग्नायं कविम् अधाधेयजः. Translation. You are the original person founder of all demigods and the orders of different gradations. Yet you are the oldest and are unchanged. O Lord, you have no source of superior. You have impregnated the external energy with the semen of the total living entities, yet you are unborn. Purport. Anyone would like to read?
Hare
We
Krishna
have
Mataji, can I read?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Purport. The Lord, the original person, is the father of all other living entities. Beginning from Brahma, the personality from whom all the other living entities in different gradations of species are generated. Yet the Supreme Father has no other father. Every one of the living entities of all grades up to Brahma, the original creator of the universe, is begotten by a father. But he, the Lord, has no father. When he descends to the material plane, out of his causeless mercy, he accepts one of his great devotees as his father to keep pace with the rules of the material world. But since he is the Lord, he is always independent in choosing who will become his father. For example, the Lord came out of a pillar in his incarnation as Nrsimhadev, and by the Lord's causeless mercy, Ahelia came out of a stone by the touch of the lotus feet of his incarnation as Lord Sri Ram. He is also the companion of every living entity as the super soul, but he is unchanged. The living entity changes his body in the material world, but even when the Lord is in the material world, he is ever unchanged. That is his prerogative. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14.3, the Lord impregnates the external or material energy, and thus the total living entities later come out in different gradations, beginning from Brahma, the first demigod, down to the insignificant ant. All gradations of living entities are manifested by Brahma and the external energy, but the Lord is the original father of everyone. The relationship of every living being with the Supreme Lord is certainly one of son and father and not one of equality. Sometimes in love, the son is more than the father, but the relationship of father and son is one of the superior and the subordinate. Every living entity, however great he may be, even up to demigods like Brahma and Indra, is an eternally subordinate servitor of the Supreme Father. The Mahatattva principle is a generating source of all the modes of material nature, and the living entities take birth in the material world in bodies supplied by the mother, material nature, in terms of their previous work. The body is a gift of material nature, but the soul is originally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much. Last verse, 3.5.51. Tato vayam mat pramukha yad arthe bhabhuvimatman karavama kimte त्वाम्नः स्वचक्षुः परिदेहि सक्त्या देवक्रियार्थे यद अनुग्रहणाम्. Translation: O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahatattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. Purport. It's quite long. Would anyone like to voluntarily read, or shall I read? It's nice to go through it so that you'll remember always. Anyone?
I don't mind again if you want before
Okay.
I leave. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Lord, is there anybody else who's raised their hands before I start?
No, I don't think so, Mataji.
Okay, I'll read up to the souls at
Okay.
the end of the paragraph.
Thank you.
I can read the rest afterward, Mataji.
Yes.
I can. Oh, Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Yeah, why don't you, Mataji? And Dulekha Mataji, why don't you read?
Yes, I can. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mata.
Okay. Purport. The Lord creates this material world and impregnates the material energy with the living entities who will act in material world. All these actions have a divine plan behind them. The plan is to give the conditioned souls who so desire it a chance to enjoy sense gratification. But there is another plan behind the creation to help the living entities realize that they are created for the transcendental sense gratification of the Lord and not for their individual sense gratification. This is a constitutional position of the living entities. The Lord is one without a second, and he expands himself into many for his transcendental pleasure. All the expansions, the Vishnu Tattvas, the Jiva Tattvas, and the Shakti Tattvas, the personalities of Godhead, the living entities, and the different potencies are different offshoots from the same one Supreme Lord. The Jiva Tattvas are separated expansion of the Vishnu Tattvas, and also the Jivas have different potencies. They are all meant for the transcendental sense gratification of the Supreme Lord. Some of the Jivas, however, wanted to lord it over material nature in imitation of the lordship of the personality of Godhead. Regarding when and why such propensities overcame the few living entities, it can only be explained that the Jiva Tattvas have infinitesimal independence, and that due to misuse of this independence, some of the living entities have become implicated in the conditions of cosmic creation and are therefore called Nitya Baddhas, or eternally conditioned souls. Shall I continue, or someone else want to read?
I think Namrata Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, sorry, I'm reading via phone, so I'll be a little bit slow, but my apologies.
It's okay, Mataji. Thank
The expansions of Vedic wisdom also Vedic wisdom also gave the Nitya Badhas, the conditional living entities, a chance to improve, and those who take advantage of such transcendental knowledge gradually regain their lost consciousness of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. The demigods are amongst the conditioned souls who have developed this pure consciousness of service to the Lord, but who at the same time continue to desire to lord it over the material energy. Such mixed consciousness puts a conditional soul in the position of managing the affairs of this creation. The demigods are entrusted leaders of the conditional souls. As some of as some of the old prisoners in government jails are entrusted with some responsible work of prison management, so the demigods are improved conditioned souls acting as representatives of the Lord in the material creation. Such demigods are devotees of the Lord in the material world. And when completely free from all material desires to lord it over the material energy, they become pure devotees and have no desire but to serve the Lord. Therefore, any living entity who desires a position in the material world may desire so in the service of the Lord and may seek power and intelligence from the Lord, as exemplified by the demigods in this particular verse. One cannot do anything unless he is enlightened and empowered by the Lord. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Mata smritirgnanam apohanam cha. All recollections, knowledge, etc., as well as forgetfulness, are engineered by the Lord, who is sitting within the heart of everyone. The intelligent man seeks the help of the Lord, and the Lord helps the sincere devotees engaged in his multifarious services. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The demigods are entrusted by the Lord to create different species of living entities according to their past deeds. They are herein asking the favor of the Lord for the intelligence and power to carry out their task. Similarly, any conditioned soul may also engage in the service of the Lord under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, and thus gradually become freed from the entanglement of material existence. The spiritual master is the manifested representative of the Lord, and anyone who puts himself under the guidance of a spiritual master and acts accordingly is said to be acting in terms of Buddhi Yoga, as explained in Bhagavad Gita 2.41. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धेर एकः कुरु नन्दन बहुसाख्या हे अनन्तश्च बुद्धयो vyavasayinam. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, fifth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Vidura's Talks. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. I'll quickly do some prayers. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So as we can see, yes. So these particular verses, 49 to 51, actually are talking about demigods. How are they asking Krishna and to give them light and to show them how to do creation, how to use these ingredients that Krishna has given, and how to serve Krishna in assist him in the creation and in creating this world. So this is the position actually in these three verses, where we're seeing the position of demigods and we're seeing the position of Lord also, and we can clearly see from these purports and the translations that Lord is the controller and we are the controlled, we are the servants of the Lord. As we can see in 3.5.49 in the translation also, this is how they're praying to the Lord. They're saying that, O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities, so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance and can easily accumulate the necessities of life, both for you and ourselves. So this is how our attitude should be. We are the servants actually, and this is how we should be praying, or this is what we should be asking for, not other material gains, but we should ask that even if God has given us something materially, we should ask how to engage Krishna. Oh God, we don't know how to use what we have got because of our pious deeds, or because of our previous lives deeds. We have been given this all these opulences and pleasures, but please enlighten us how to use them in your service. This is how actually we should also pray to Krishna. So we can see that the demigods, they are praying that you that how can we offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities, so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves. So we see that scientists, they don't believe in God, and they say that this just comes naturally. It's just a natural process, that we're getting grains and food and all these things. It is just a chemical reaction, and there's no one behind it. They try to make theories and everything to make it a point, but actually we can see from the Shastras that even for rain there is a God. Someone is responsible for the rain, and that person itself is dependent on Supreme Personality of Godhead, on another controller. So there should be a controller and a controlled person. There has to be two people. For example, we are the controllers of robots. It's not the other way around, because we created them. But then we also are controlled by the controller, that is the Supreme Lord. So the Shastras gives us evidence that even the demigods, who are responsible for different departments in the material world, they are also asking for the mercy of the controller, of the Supreme Lord. For example, we have so many departments. We can see we have Department of Education, Saraswati Devi. We have Department of Lakshmi, like money and luxury, that is Lakshmi Devi. Then we have Department of Material, or war, we can say war, Department of War, and that is also controlled by Durga Devi. So they're all different departments that are controlled by these demigods. And we should also understand that these demigods are not ordinary. This is what in Prabhupada we read so many purports, 3 long purports and 3 verses. So what is the crux of it? It is that the demigods actually are higher than us, because their consciousness is higher. Our consciousness is human beings. We can also raise it to the mode of from ignorance to mode of passion, from passion to mode of goodness, and from goodness to pure goodness. That is Shuddha Satogun. We can even raise it to that, and then we have to transcend these 3 modes to pure consciousness. That's a transcendental consciousness, where we can understand God easily. But here Prabhupada is making a point in the purport that the demigods have a higher consciousness than us, higher consciousness, because they did a lot of austerities. They also did some devotional service, and they got a place in higher planetary systems. So there are how many planetary systems are there? There are some planetary systems, no, that we have also. We're going to study later in Bhagavatam, later chapters also. But are you aware how many planetary systems are there? Anyone wants to?
15, Mataji?
Is it Madhavi Mataji?
Yes.
So there are 14 planetary
14,
systems.
Mataji,
14,
14.
yeah,
Yes.
14, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Correct.
6 higher, and then the earth, and then 6 and 7 lower.
7 lower.
Yes, correct. So let's just go through them very quickly, so that we can learn something new in every session. So like Indulekha Mataji said, 6 planetary systems are above us, above Prithvi, above Bhurlok, and 7 are below. So the 6 above are higher planetary systems, and they start from Satyalok, Tapalok, Janalok, Maharlok, Swarlok, and Bhuvarlok. These are all 6 higher planetary systems, and then comes our lok, where we live. It's Bhurlok, and below that is 7 lower planetary systems. We call them lower planetary systems, and above is higher planetary systems. So the lower ones are Atal Lok, Vital Lok, Sutal Lok, Tatala Lok, Mahatala Lok, Rasatala, and Patal Lok. We all must have heard somewhere or the other Patal Lok, because it's very famous for being very, very dangerous also. There are a lot of horrible things happen in Patal Lok. So we must have heard of Patal Lok at least, and we must have heard of the topmost, which is Satya Lok, and the lowermost is Patal Lok, and we are on the 7th number. So these are the higher and lower planetary systems. We can also always go through them and we can learn about them in our own time. But the higher planetary system, what happens, their consciousness is raised because they did these some little devotional service also, and they did some they had some desires also, material desires. So why is it said that a devotee is more, to become a devotee is better than becoming a demigod? Why is it said so? Because a demigod, in demigods, what's the problem is they are very pure. They are very, very pure. They've done so much pious activity, austerities and whatnot. We can't calculate that. They have done a lot of things, and they got that position according to what they did in their previous lives. But they also have some inclination towards Krishna, towards God, and they're also devotional. But the problem is that they still have attachment to the positions. They still want some material benefits. They're not completely devotional. Like, they have desires. They still have some desires, and they still want to enjoy. So that is the only problem with demigods. Otherwise we are still lower than them, because we're still on a process of becoming a pure devotee. But it is said that becoming a pure devotee is even more higher than becoming a demigod, because pure devotee means we are going back to Goloka Vrindavan. There is no other desire than to serve Lord Hari, and to serve Lord Hari is the blissful and most whatever we want to name it, knowledgeable, blissful, Satchidananda. We're in this place where there is only bliss, pure Satchidananda. So that is the permanent position of a soul. But some of us, we are not able to finish it in this life also, or we may have some desires, so we come back. And also there's an interesting point that these demigods, like we read in these 3 verses and 3 translations, they're actually praising the Lord, and they're asking for for Lord's mercy, because they can't do anything on their own. They realize this thing, they know this thing, that we are subordinate to the Lord. They understand this, they accept this. But because the pure devotion is not yet here, and they know that they cannot carry out anything of related to creation or any other department that they have been given charge of, they cannot do anything without Krishna's sanction, and they're aware of it. They're very much aware of it. That's why they're asking Krishna to please empower us, please give us guidance, because we cannot do anything. Not even a blade of grass can move without Krishna's sanction. So they know that, they're aware of this fact. And if we see Bhagavad Gita also, chapter 9, which is entitled as not the most confidential knowledge, I think, yes, the most confidential knowledge, 9.21, it says that see what Krishna says here. He says that when they have thus enjoyed the vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to the mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So Krishna is also confirming in the Gita, making it very clear that I've told you everything, Arjuna. Those who want to enjoy, and those whose pious activities have been exhausted, they will return back. They have to take birth again. And those who doesn't seek anything like that, they can get out of this cycle of birth and death. That's also in chapter 15, which is the Yoga of Supreme Person. Krishna is confirming this, that supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun, is not illuminated by the sun or moon. He doesn't need sun or moon for his planet or for his supreme abode to be illuminated, nor he needs any fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So those who reach or who remember Krishna at the end of their life, they go back to him and they don't need to come back. But with demigods, we see there's a different story. That's one thing. And another thing is these demigods actually, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, I don't know if you know about this thing, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, many demigods actually came to see him and seek his blessings, because they realized that Lord Chaitanya has come, the most awaited avatar. He has come, and Krishna has come himself, and he is giving this name. He's such an easy way of going back to Godhead, and they know that they have to work a lot. They have to spend so many years in the heavenly planets or wherever they are, and it's very difficult from those planets to go back to Godhead. So they prayed to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please bring us, please can we associate with you, can we become your associates, we can help you in your mission, and then we can go back to Godhead with you. So these demigods, we see there are some people who are born from their very childhood, since they're born they know everything. They know all the shlokas, they know how to bow down from very childhood, very small young age, they know everything. How? Because somewhere we don't know what they were in their past lives. They could be a demigod who is born and who wants to continue the devotional service, and he wants to go back to Godhead. So there are so many devatas and demigods who will be born in this age, and they'll also help in this mission, and because they also want to go back to Godhead. So some of the parents who are Krishna conscious, they always pray that some demigod comes and they can assist them, and these devatas can go back to Godhead, and they can also serve them, and they can also go back to Godhead. So they pray and they do the garbhada sanskar and all those things, and then these demigods are given a chance to go back to Godhead. It's very interesting. And if we see 5.49, the next verse, translation says, the demigods are how they are praying. You are the original personal founder of all the demigods. They're accepting this. So some people who are arguing on the fact that no, we should go to demigods. We have to go to a particular demigod for a particular kind of luxury or whatever they want in their life. Some people will argue, you pray to Krishna, but you also pray to this. You also go to this demigod. We have to go to everyone. So most people in India, they have this conception that we have to please individually all the demigods, but we can always show them that here demigods themselves are saying that you are the original personal founder of all demigods. They accept this, and the orders of different gradations, yet you are the oldest and are unchanged. They're accepting this. They're praying to him, oh Lord, you have no source or superior. So there is no one. If someone wants to find out that who is the controlling Krishna and who is Krishna's father, they will not find it out. They won't be able to find it, because Krishna himself has said that I am the original father of everyone, and there is no source of me, there is no one superior to me. And then they're saying you have impregnated the external energy with the semen of the total living entities, yet you are unborn. So he is the one who's creating all the souls, who we are entrapped in his bodies, in transcendental body, and then we come out at the time of creation with our own consciousness. But actually he is the original father, and demigods are aware of this. So Prabhupada is also actually giving very nice example here. That the Lord is unborn, but he, just to glorify his devotees, he comes and takes birth so that he can do leelas. For example, Krishna and another. For example, he has also given example here. Lord came out of the pillar in his incarnation as Narsimadev. So some people will say that how can God be born from a human body? What kind of God he is if he's taking birth as a human? Some people would say from other faiths, they won't know it. So here, Prabhupada is saying in the purport that Lord can come from anywhere. He doesn't need to come out from a material body only. He can come, as for example, Narsimadev came from a pillar, because Hiranyakashipu was not accepting that God can come from anywhere. He was asking Prahlad Maharaj, show me where your God is, from where he can come. Can your God come out from this pillar? And then Lord, we can't challenge Lord. He's everywhere. So he came out of the pillar also because of his causeless mercy. Then Ahalya. Does anyone know about Ahalya? Who was Ahalya? And because the example has been given here, so it's very interesting
Krishna,
Yes, Mataji.
Somebody else wants to say, or is it okay if I say?
Yes, Mataji, you can go on.
Okay, Ahilya, she was a wife of Gautam Muni, and she was very, very beautiful. And then Indra, as we know throughout Bhagavatam, we see how mischievous he is. So Indra, he wanted to associate with Ahilya. Then he took Chandra as his accomplice, and then he went to the place of Gautam Muni. Gautam Muni used to go for his bath at 4 o'clock in the morning when the rooster will cry in the morning. So that day, Chandra, he made the noise as a rooster, and then then Gautam Muni was awakened. He said, "Okay, it's time for me for my bath." So he left home. When he went by the river Ganga, it is said from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning, we should not be disturbing the rivers because they also take rest. So now Ganga was asking, who is this one who is disturbing me? It's too early. Then Dr. Muni said, it's your son who has come to have his bath. And then Gangama said, you should go back. There is imposters in your house and it's too early. This is not the right time. So he had his wet towel. He held the wet towel and he went to his place. When he went to his place, he saw Chandra. And then he asked Chandra, what are you doing here? Then he saw Indra coming out of his house. So he threw his wet towel at Chandra. That's how it is Chandrama Midagha. So he got that one. And then Indra was trying to run away, but Indra took the form of Gautam Muni and had association with Ahilya. But now Ahilya was so confused. My husband is coming now. Who was that person? But in other commentators, they said that Ahilya knew that it was Indra. Some said she didn't know. So yes, so then Gautam Muni came and Gautam Muni saw Ahilya and there was big argument and all. And then Ahilya was so shocked that she stood without uttering a word, like couldn't move, couldn't say anything. Then Gautam Muni said, you are standing in front of me like a stone without replying. So I curse you to become a stone. But then Ahilya asked for forgiveness. Then Gautam Muni said, okay, I will forgive you. I cannot forgive you because I have already cursed you. But now when Lord Ram comes in Treta Yuga, then he will liberate you. Then Ahilya said, now we are in Satya Yuga, then there will be Dwarpa. Satya is first, Dwarpa is second, Treta is third. So how I'm going to stay for so long in separation with you? Then Gautam Muni said, okay, I will change the yugas. That's how we got Satya and Treta and then Dwarpa. Dwarpa should come first, but Dwarpa can come after. That is how the yugas are changed. And that's how she was made into a stone. And then she remained there waiting for Lord Ram. Now they had a 6-year-old daughter. And that daughter was Anjana. Now the father, Gautam Muni, was so angry. And then he cursed the daughter also. He said, you also didn't recognize that that person was not your father. So I curse you to become a mother when you're not married, like young girls. So then after everything was done, then he realized what he has done. Then he told the Anjana that you will be very famous. You will have a son who will be very famous all over the universe. So that's how Anjana got Hanumanji. So yes, and then Lord Ram came and liberated Ahilya. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. That's so sweet story, and thank you for taking us back to these devotees and their pastimes. Thank you so much. Ahilya was also a daughter of Brahmaji.
I'm not sure, Mataji, about that.
Yes, yes. We'll find out, no problem, Mataji. So Ahilya, like you said, she was cursed because she was treated as an unjust woman and she associated with Indra. She was not aware. Some say she was aware, some say she wasn't aware. It's not clear in the scriptures yet. But here what Prabhupada is saying that Ahilya came out as a stone by the touch of the lotus feet incarnation of Lord Ram. So Lord Ram, she was waiting for Lord Ram, and Lord Ram just touched her by his feet, and she came to her normal human form. So the point of mentioning this here in the purport is that Prabhupada want to say that for Lord nothing is impossible. He can make a stone into a human. He can come out of the pillar. He can do anything. He even when he Lord Krishna appeared, he did not appear like a normal baby. He appeared in his four-armed form, in form of Lord Vishnu. He showed his form to the parents, and then he, because on the request of mother, he returned back to the normal two-handed form. So that is the mercy of causeless mercy of the Lord. So he can do anything. He doesn't take birth like us. He is he's also a companion of every living entity as super soul. So he is also within us as super soul all the time, every time. Even when we're thinking about some bad thoughts, we're having some bad thoughts, good thoughts, he knows everything. Even if we hide it from anyone, he knows that we don't even have to look around our walls. Some people say that, oh, diwar ke bhi kaan hote hain, which means even the walls can hear what you're doing. But before the walls can hear, super soul can hear everything within, even our mind, everything. He knows everything. The living entities changes his body in the material world, but even when the Lord is in the material world, he is ever unchanged. So like our bodies, after leaving these bodies, we'll get a new body. We'll keep getting this new body. And there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita also which says that we have different bodies. We go through childhood, birth, youth, old age, and all these different bodies in this life only. But Lord doesn't have such kind of bodies. His body is transcendental. His body is not material body like us, which is confirmed in the Shastras also. And if we go to the last verse, what are the demigods saying? Here saying that, O Supreme Self, please give us who are created in the beginning from the Mahat Tattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. So they are so subordinate, and they're so humble. We can see that they are asking for the kindness of the Lord to show them how to create, how shall they act. They're completely dependent on the Lord. Like Lord Brahma also, when he got to know about Krishna, who's the creator or who created him, he also asked for Lord's mercy and how to create, how to do the creation. So these demigods are also saying that kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in different departments of the subsequent creation. So here Prabhupada has given very nice example in the purport to end this whole chapter. Like this material world is a jail. Somewhere he's mentioned that this material world is like a prison, a jail, and we all are imprisoned in it because we wanted to enjoy. And who is the and in the jail, in the same way, like in the jail we have so many these controllers of different cells who will be looking after these prisoners. So in the same way, these demigods are actually given power, and they are looking after different cells of this prison house. But there is someone who's heading the whole prison, whole jail. Actually, that's not the same person. So in the same way, Lord is the controller, and these demigods are just carrying out the orders of the Lord. That is what, very simple, in very simple terms, this is what these three verses mean, that even the demigods are subordinate to the Lord. And look how they are begging for Krishna's mercy so that they can act. But sometimes what happens, because they use their free will, we all have got a little independence. Krishna doesn't control us in that ways, but he can only enlighten us through Bhagavad Gita. We all have got some little independence. So some people use that independence in completely surrendering unto the Lord, and guided by a spiritual master. That's why Prabhupada in the end, he's saying in the purport about the spiritual master, who's the representative of the Lord. If we work according to the spiritual master's instruction, and the spiritual master should be a bona fide spiritual master, then there are chances that we will not have mixed bhakti, mixed kind of consciousness that demigods have. Demigods have mixed consciousness because they also want to enjoy, they also want to devote a little bit. But we are recommended, what Prabhupada is asking us to have an intelligent person. If we are really intelligent, we will surrender unto the Lord and follow the instructions of our spiritual master and go back to Godhead and not get entangled in this material world. Even if we become Brahma, we become some other controller, or we become some kind of demigod, we will still have attacks from the demons. There are so many stories in the past where demons were attacked. They're constantly attacked by these, demigods are constantly attacked by the demons, and they're going to Lord Vishnu, going to the Lord again and again, please do something, please forgive us, please give us some mercy, please get us rid of these demons and their attacks. So they're always begging, because there is still tension in the material world. Even if we become some kind of demigod also, we'll still be in tension. And then the extension, 10,000 years. Heavens, the time period of heaven is 10,000 years, which means the time that we've got in ISKCON, the prediction that is there is 10,000 years of Sankirtan movement. So imagine if you go to some planet like heaven, you'll have to stay there for 10,000 years. It will be gone, and then you'll be born again, and it will be Ghor Kali Yuga, very very horrible time. So why should we waste our time? We should take shelter of Prabhupada, take shelter of Prabhupada's books, take shelter of his lectures and bona fide spiritual master to the parampara, and devote ourselves and work according to the guidance of the acharyas and our scriptures. Read Bhagavatam, hear about the Lord and his associates, because when we hear about Lord and his associates and his devotee stories, we become purified, our senses become purified. So instead of thinking about mundane things, we'll think about them. We'll think about, for example, Narsimha Dev, like we read today some of the personalities' names. So we will think about them before going to sleep. Also, we'll think about them. So it will remind us of Krishna and his devotees and the qualities that they had. That's why it's very important to stay connected to Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and make our life successful. So that is what actually, there's so much to say about these verses. But if there is any question or any thoughts, I know there must be some questions, many questions about this topic, or some reflections or thoughts, then please feel free to share. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madanot Pranam ho, glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Who is this?
Namrata Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Namrata.
Yes.
Mataji, very beautifully explained. Thank you so much, Mataji. You always explain it so beautifully. Mataji, my question was, when you said about the 14 lokas, yourself and Indulekha Mataji mentioned, so are we saying that the topmost, which is Vaikunt Loka, Gokul Loka, Goloka, where Krishna lives, that is not part of the 14, correct?
No, Mataji. That's
Yeah,
not
okay.
tough, because these are material. Remember, these 14,
Right.
14 lokas, these are material. They are
Right.
not. They're not a spiritual world, because we have to come back. We keep rotating in these 14 worlds. Even if we go to Satyaloka is the topmost, where Brahmaji lives. Even if we go there, we have to come back, no, because it's not permanent. Brahmaji is also not permanent. It's a post. It's a position,
Okay.
no? The most pious
Yeah.
person, the most devoted and pious person gets the post of Brahmaji. And once his lifespan of 100 years finishes, then he has to come back, take another birth. So the important place for everyone, even the lower planets and higher planets, the important place out of these 14 planets is Bhurlok, where we live.
Mm.
Lok, because here this is karma lok, where we can do karmas, and the balance of bad and good karmas is taken care of, and we can do bhakti here. And Krishna also Krishna also comes, his various forms comes. So this loka where we live is very important, and even demigods are begging to take birth again and do some bhakti and go back. Indulekha Mataji, you have something to say?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. As usual, very nice explanation. As you said, the demigods are always waiting. They want to come. When Shukdev Goswami started to narrate the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj by the Ganges, Indra and some of the demigods came with a nectar, and they told Shukdev Goswami, give Parikshit Maharaj the nectar so that he will not die, and please let us narrate to us the Bhagavatam. Then Sukadeva Goswami was very angry because he said, you come to bargain. If you have come and sat nicely without bargaining, because Parikshit Maharaj didn't want to live in this world. He wanted to go, right? His term was over. So the demigod is always, their duty is to bargain, because when we go to any demigod, if I get this, I will offer you this. If my son gets a job, I will offer you this. I will do this. That is bargaining. And they give whatever the devotee, because they are supposed to be giving. But Krishna, he sees a person that comes, he doesn't give easily, right? So that is one. And then we are talking about, yes, we should not ignore the demigods, because they are also the limbs of the Lord. They are the agents of the Lord. So we should, if somebody is used to praise the demigod, don't stop it. Just add Krishna on top. Because when you are used to something difficult, to stop immediately, you will kind of have behind your mind, am I doing the right thing? Is it good? Am I going to be punished like this? So we just add Krishna and ask the demigods, please take me to your master. Don't ask for any material benefit. Just ask, please take me to your master. All your wish, all your desires will be fulfilled by that. Also, we are talking about, we always give the example of Nrsingadev coming out of the pillar. The Lord can take birth anywhere, right? We know Lord Varaha. How did he came to this world? Lord Varaha, when Lord Brahma was thinking how to deal with this, the Srishti, the earth was taken away by, what is his name? Hiranyaksh, and hidden. So Lord Brahma was thinking, and then he sneezed, and Lord Varaha came out of his nose. Tiny one, and then it grew. So it can come from anyone and from anywhere. There's lots of examples like that in the Bhagavatam itself. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your nice class.
Thank you, Mataji. It's always so nice to hear from you. So much in knowledge, information, and experience also. And thank you, Namrata Mataji, for your beautiful questions. Yes, like Mataji said that yes, we should not disrespect demigods, because obviously we are not in a position to judge them also, or disrespect them, because they are already devotees. They are carrying out the orders of Krishna only. Not disrespecting them, but also remembering that our aim is to do Krishna bhakti, and once Krishna is satisfied, if we try to satisfy him, the demigods will be very satisfied. But obviously not disrespecting them, like saying that I don't know who you are, and because we are not in that position. We are baddha jivas, like Prabhupada said in the purport. We are nitya baddha jivas, which means conditioned souls. We don't have that intelligence. So we should respect everyone. We should even respect ants, trees, rivers. So what to speak of demigods? They are so powerful, and they gained that position after doing so much austerities and pious deeds and whatnot, even devotional service. So we should always respect them.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Is there anything else you asked, Mataji? That was the only thing?
Mataji, I actually had the following question was, if I may, was, so then the 14 planets, that's material planets. So how many are spiritual planets?
So these are all 14 planets are all material only, Mataji. Spiritual is, if you see the Goloka chart, I think we have to have a class on that one day.
Yeah.
In Goloka chart, above Brahma Jyoti, the planets that come as Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha Lok is spiritual planet, and Goloka Vrindavan is spiritual planet. Apart from that, Vaikuntha Loka, all the incarnations of Lord are there, associates of Lord are there, and Goloka Vrindavan. Other than that, these planets that we discuss, 14, they are not part of spiritual planets, spiritual
Yes.
world. They are material world. So
Okay, thank
people
you,
in
Mataji.
these, yes, whoever takes birth or whoever is situated in any of these 14, they have to take birth. They have to die, take birth, die, take birth, die, take birth. But once we go to Vaikuntha Lok and Goloka Vrindavan, we don't come back. That's permanent.
Thank you, Mataji. Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, you're asking about this 14 planetary system. They are only a quarter of the whole universe. Only a quarter, these 14 planetary systems. 3/4 are the Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikuntha. So whoever goes to Vaikuntha is a place of training. They have to, if you take a job in this material world, we have to go for training. There also, we cannot go directly to Goloka. We have to be trained in Vaikuntha, and then we move up to Goloka. So it's a process, and Paramatma's duty is completed as soon as we enter the Vaikuntha planet. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for enlightening us. Any other questions, reflections? You want to share something about demigod worship or
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji?
Hare Krishna. I just want to ask you one question. Like you said, and demigods have higher consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
than our consciousness. And they're serving the Lord. They are in a higher planetary system than we are. They are in a Swarga Lokas. So, do they still have to do bhakti to go to spiritual world when they're already serving the Lord?
Yes, Mataji. Nice question. So yes, their consciousness, everyone's consciousness is based on what mode they are in. So someone is in mode of passion, someone is in mode of ignorance, someone is mode of goodness. So demigods have mostly mode of goodness. Maybe sometimes they also become passionate because they also become angry. So that's why we say mixed. It's not pure devotional service that they still have desires. They still want to enjoy. That's why God give them some positions. Okay, you do to take this department, take that department. So the thing is that now they're already controlling some department that Krishna has given them. They're serving the Lord. They're the servants of the Lord. They're serving the Lord higher than us, definitely higher than us. But if they want to do bhakti, they have to take birth again. If they want to do completely surrender unto Krishna, they don't want to desire anything else but just Krishna, then they have to take birth. They have to take another birth in this loka where we are living, and in some devotional family. They take birth in some devotional family where they can get Krishna bhakti easily, and then they can finish their 50%. Suppose they've done 80% or 89% or 90%, then they start their devotional practice from 91%, and then they can, under the guidance of a spiritual master, they can go to the to pure devotional service path. But right now, wherever they are, it's mixed. It's not completely devotional practice that they are doing, but they are obviously everyone is servant of the Lord. Everyone, even if they don't accept, we are all serving the Lord only in some way or the other. So does that answer, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Or Indulekha Mataji has something to say?
Not really, Mataji. Just because the demigods, they have got so much opulence. They are like Indra. He spent his time just listening to the Gandharvas and the Apsaras, singing and dancing. So that they get diverted from the actual spiritual path. So most of them have got so much opulences. That's why the minds are diverted. The direct service to the Lord. But this material world is called Dukhalayam Shashvatam. It's full of miseries and it is not permanent. The world is permanent, but whatever we are going through. Now, when the demigods come here, take birth on this material, they will experience both the suffering and the happiness. So when they are in happiness, they will think about the Lord. When they are in distress, also they think about the Lord. That is it. But in the other planetary system, they are either in helping the Lord or in too much enjoyment. That's why they cannot move further. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, thank you for mentioning that point. Yes, very important point. Is that the only problem in heaven or heavenly planets or the higher planetary systems? Like we said, 6 planetary systems. These are the higher planetary systems. The only problem is that there's so much opulence, everything, so many things. Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport. If you go back to these 3 verses, 49 to 51, in the purport, you go back and again read, you'll find out Prabhupada has mentioned there's so much enjoyment, luxury, money, beauty, and long life, so that there's a amrit, nectar, so many things are there. You can't remember Krishna. Just imagine if we get all these opulences in this life, don't let alone demigod heaven. But here also, if someone gives me a big car, my family is very nice family, everyone is doing well in the family, very good in-laws, big house, all the opulences, good job, beautiful, everything. Will I feel like going to God? I'll feel that I am God. I'll start feeling that I have everything and I should control the controlling tendency comes, because that's why it is said. I was listening to a lecture and they were saying that it's very detrimental, and it's not very good to get opulences. Once we get a little material opulence, we'll start breaking the 4 regulative principles. Yes, I remember I was listening to Dr. Nitai Sevani Mataji, who was giving a lecture in ISKCON Pune few days back, and she mentioned this very good point, that there are so many holes in our suppose we are a boat and we want to cross this material material, the sea of material nature, and we are in a boat. So our boat, if our boat can only cross with the help of devotees and spiritual master. But if our boat gets so many holes, our boat will sink. So what are these holes? These holes are all these. One of the hole was opulences. If we get too many opulences in our life, here also in this Prithvi Loka, in this earth also, if we get so many opulences, what happens? We don't remember Krishna, we don't remember God, and we'll start thinking that we are God or we can control. And the same mentality that Prabhupada says, that to lord it over the material nature, it comes, and we feel that everything is fine here. Why should I go to God? Even if there is God, I'm fine at the moment. I don't need him. The business comes. So with demigods, that's the problem. Demigods means business. I give you this much money, you give me this much back. I mean, there's always some exchange happening between demigods and human beings. But with Krishna, it's not Krishna's thing. Krishna says, if you want opulences, I can give you everything. Lakshmi is my consort. Radharani is there. He has everything. Where Krishna is, Lakshmi is also there. But he sees the heart and intentions of the devotee. Do you want me or do you want my Maya? If you want my Maya, go to demigods. Take from them, because that will be exchange, no? That will be a business. That will be a business. Give me this, I'll give you that. But with God, there should be loving relationship. There is difference between, I was listening to a lecture and it was they mentioned that there is difference between love and lust. So lust is calm. Calm means calm means to enjoy our own senses, to feed our own senses. And love means to try to satisfy other person's senses. That is love. And love can only happen with Krishna, with God. Because if we try to satisfy Krishna's senses, then we can truly justify the meaning of love. But if we try to satisfy our senses, then that is lust, that is kama. And that is what happens when we go to demigods. That's not love. We don't love them, actually. We don't love none of the demigods. We're only looking after our own satisfying our senses, our own body, or luxuries and all those things. But with Krishna, it's different. He won't like it. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. That was very nicely explained. Of course, yeah, if we have desires, then we cannot kind of go to spiritual world. Yeah, there should be only desire to serve the Lord in pure devotion service.
Yes, Mataji, I know that it sounds very, for someone who's new in devotion, all these things sound very like kind of burden. We'll think, oh my God, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do this, I had so many desires. What will happen to them? But don't worry about them. Let them be there. And just add Krishna, like Indulekha Mataji said, just add Krishna to whatever you're doing. Just add Krishna to that. I also did the same in the beginning, added Krishna, and someone, a devotee, told me to do the same. Add Krishna, don't subtract anything from your life. Add Krishna, and what happens when Krishna is added? No, everything becomes devotional. So Krishna added to work, it becomes a devotional work. Krishna added to whatever you do, to food, it becomes devotional, it becomes prasad. Krishna added to music, it becomes kirtan. So if we add Krishna to whatever we're doing, it becomes pure. That is the way Krishna actually manifests. He just makes everything so pure. Don't worry, don't stress about anything that I have to remove one, I have to just focus on this thing. Don't worry about that. Just follow, read, follow whatever you can follow, add Krishna, and he will show the way according to your desire, because he's in our heart. He's super soul. He sits within our heart. He knows what my devotee wants, what my son or child or daughter wants. He knows everything. He'll take care of that. We just add.
I was reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 39, where Lord Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna about Buddhi Yoga, like transcend your intelligence, you know, do everything for my happiness, do everything, all your activities, do for me. And that way your intelligence or your buddhi will become transcendental.
Correct.
Then your activities will become transcendental as well. So yeah, I was reading that.
That's very nice, Mataji. That's exactly your answer. Answer to your question. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. And please forgive me for any offenses if I've said anything wrong, because I'm also conditioned. Baddhajiv, I'm also conditioned soul, and I'm just trying to learn and associate with devotees so that I can progress in my devotion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And Merry Christmas to everyone. And Happy New Year also.
Yeah. May Happy New Year to you too. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shall we stop here, or any other question or thoughts? Okay. Thank you so much. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.